Good morning, everybody. Today I'm outside Lakeside Vets, or more importantly, Vets for Now. Before I start, I've got a disclaimer and a warning. This video contains graphic content about how my dog Bordeaux was put down a little while ago. Absolutely terrible by vetsnow. Disclaimers: Lakeside Vets, fair dues, everything I've asked them for. They've been absolutely fantastic. The staff have been brilliant. So please do not have a go at Lakeside Vets. Vets that now are only the out of hours service. The other people, obviously not to have a go at, is the PDSA, because they've actually helped me quite a bit with all the information which I needed, sent Mia's files over, etc. So most of this video is going to be with regards to how a complaint has gone in. The actual vet concerned, zero compassion. Put Mia, my dog Bordeaux, through absolute hell her final 10 minutes. There is a video at the very end. Again, upsetting video. Telephone call making the complaint is all full on here. If you don't like to know how a dog has been treated, then please skip this video. Okay? Right, let it carry on and I'll see you again at the end. There we go. And so
No problem.
you have been fantastic, etc. There will not be any complaints about how you're speaking to me or how you've dealt with everything so far.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No problem, thank you.
No problem at all. When Mia has had a past history with mastitis, she has.
Right.
She has, when we went over there on Saturday, she had a large growth. I've had the report from the PDSA. The staff on the receptionist and all the other nurses around, I cannot fault. I cannot fault at all. We got called in by the actual vet. His whole attitude, he didn't have any compassion for the situation.
Right.
He could see that Mia was in a lot of discomfort. I'll take you back in because I know that Emily will want to inject.
Oh, it's all right. Listen, take your time. It's no problem.
She's got a better memory than myself. So he came in, he took her vitals, etc. But the attitude in there was unprofessional. Especially if you're having a pet put down, and everybody knows that a dog isn't a pet, a part of the family.
Oh, absolutely.
Tell her that normally I've never in all all my years that I've owned dogs, I've never taken a pet to the vet and the vet not, oh, hello, give them a fuss, make them feel comfortable. He didn't even acknowledge Mia. He didn't give it a fuss. He didn't say, oh, hello, anything. Do you know what I mean? There was no empathy from him. There was no respect towards Mia or ourselves.
Right, gosh.
Okay. So, obviously, he examined her. Even before he turned around and said about it's time, I turned around and said she needs to go. She'd given us the look at home, and he agreed. I said about other lumps and bumps on her, which he examined, and he basically said that she had quite a bit of cancer in her as well. So,
bless her.
obviously, the right thing for her is to let her run free. Obviously, I had to sign the consent, no problem. And then I've had dogs. My first dog, which I had put down, was when I was 18. I'm 60 now. So I've had a few dogs, and they've all lived long years. Generally speaking, the vet will always put the needle into one of the front legs, and that is it. This one, Mia showed zero sign of aggression. Obviously, she was in pain, but she was perfect. She didn't have an ounce of aggression.
She was uncomfortable, but she was okay. She was sitting down. She wasn't pacing around. She was sitting.
So then he turned around and said that he had to give her a sedation.
Right.
So
he didn't. Hang on, sorry. If I can just. He didn't. When he came in with the consent form, he gave the consent form to my dad to sign, and he said, "This is a sedative. This will calm her." He didn't explain any potential side effects. What would happen? Nothing. All he said is that it would take a few minutes to work. Do you want me to carry on?
I'll carry on now. So he put that into her. At the time, Mia was sat up. He said to us that he'd be back in about 10 minutes' time. He then left the room. I was sat down by Mia's head. Emily was the other side. We were actually facing the door. Now, the door had a window in there, and I did see somebody just pop their head over for a fraction of a second and then walk away, just obviously checking. We weren't told that after the sedative as it was taking effect, that Mia was going to suddenly, her front legs were going to buckle. If you don't want to hear this, I would leave, okay?
Do you see if it gets a bit much for either of you? I know that this is the most devastating thing that you're having to deal with, and it's obviously very upsetting to talk about, and I appreciate the fact that you all are talking about it, but see if it gets too much, let me know, and we can take a couple of minutes.
Tell her to ring me, and if you want me to, I can explain everything. If Mum, I can hear
I'm happy to do whatever's going to be the most comfortable for you guys.
Yeah, if you could ring Emily will give you her phone number now, just to carry on with it. But
I know. I can give you a little call back, all right?
No problem, cheers.
Right. So if I've already got, part of what your dad had said now. The inbound calls to my line are recorded, so I can go back and check everything that your dad said. However, the outbound calls aren't. So I'm going to be taking notes, but I might have to ask you to either slow down or I might have to ask you to repeat yourself. But I'm not being rude when I do that, all right? It's just that I want to make sure I'm gathering everything accurately. Right, so bear with me here. And this is for Emily. Right. So if you'd like to tell me what happened, please, Emily.
From the start, or
I'll tell
just
you
from?
what we've got from your dad so far, okay? Now, this might sound a little bit convoluted, but it might be easier for you to do it from the start for your benefit. But we've got here is that your dad had advised that Mia sadly had a past history of mastitis, and she had came over to vetsnow on Saturday with a large growth. He did make mention about the receptionist and other staff he couldn't fault,
Yeah.
but when you got called in by the vet did not have any compassion for the situation at all. He took the vitals, etc., but his attitude was unprofessional throughout. Emily has never Emily had never taken a pet to a vet before that didn't acknowledge the pet. The vets showed no empathy or respect towards Emily, Stephen, or Mia. I have to put the people's names on because obviously it's not me
Yeah.
that's going to be dealing with it. We've got Stephen advised that Mia needed to go to the vet to be put to sleep. Stephen advised that the lumps and bumps and advised that the little one had also got cancer. And Stephen had to sign the euthanasia consent form. Mia showed zero sign of aggression. Obviously, she was in pain, but she was perfect. She was uncomfortable. Stephen gave the consent, and the vet advised that sedation would calm her, but they were not told what would happen during the sedation. The vet had left and had advised it would be back in 10 minutes. The sedative began to work, and Mia's legs would buckle at the front. When the vet came back in, the vet wasn't pleasant throughout, and the vet's attitude had got worse when
So
Stephen advised.
sorry, if we can just rewind to the bit in regards to the leg buckling. Obviously, because there's more
That's fine.
to that, but that's when my mum got upset, so he stopped
That is
explaining.
right. Perfect.
So yeah, her legs buckled and they like sort of folded underneath her, if you know what I mean. So obviously we were worried about her injuring herself. So we untucked her legs and she managed to sit herself back up. So then I said to my dad to, guide her down, to lay her down so she was comfortable so it didn't happen again. Um, so she laid down and very quickly her breathing, she was panting anyway, yes, but it became a lot more labored. It was sort of like very slow breath. To me, it really looked as though she was dying right there. That's the only way to put it.
Yeah.
We were getting more and more concerned. She started to twitch, her head would jerk, and she would make these noises I can't explain. So obviously at this point we're really concerned that maybe she's possibly having a negative effect, or we're not sure what's going on, because as I said, we weren't explained anything. um and I went out to reception and I explained, and I said, look, I said, the vet has given me she's got to be put to sleep. I said the vet has given her some sedation or something. I said we have no idea what it's supposed to do, but she's struggling to breathe in there, and this is cruel. I said this isn't okay. I said, can you go and get the vet and tell him to just come and sort her, please? I said, because this is not right. And she said, yeah, no problem, I'll go and get him. So I went back to the room with Mia and my dad, and she was still the same. Appeared to look as though she was sleeping, but as I said, her breathing was really bad. um it took me another 3 occasions of going out to the vet, out to the reception, and finding out what's going on, when the vet
Can,
eventually
can,
sorry.
oh, sorry to very rudely interrupt you. Did you say 3 attempts there? Yep.
Yeah, so in
Right.
total I went out on 4 occasions.
Uh-huh.
So then the vet eventually came back. um
Yeah.
Again, no compassion whatsoever. And my dad, he crouched there. He brought in the obviously the euthanasia injections, and he crouched down to start putting the line in Mia's paw. And he said, she's sleeping. And my dad said, I don't know about sleeping, maybe try struggling to breathe. and he didn't. He just ignored that. He didn't acknowledge it. So then my dad asked him why Mia was given the sedative, and he said it was to calm her. And he said, obviously, that Mia showed absolutely no signs of aggression whatsoever. You know, she never has. And he said, no, for pain. But the way he spoke to my dad was disgusting, considering he was sat there. Well, the both of us were sat there next to our dog on the floor, who, as I said, was really, really, really struggling. And that's the way he spoke to him. If it wasn't for Mia still being aware of what was going on, he would have known about the fact that he spoke to my dad like that, because I would have said something, but it wasn't fair on Mia, so I kept quiet. So anyway, then he was trying to get the line in, but he was struggling. And obviously, as my dad said, with sedation, when you're given sedation, obviously your veins and everything, you relax. So obviously he struggled to get the line in. He did manage to get it in the end. And obviously he started to administer the euthanasia. So me and my dad obviously were just hugging Mia, comforting Mia, etc. He didn't say anything. He was just administering it. Then he stopped. He gave the first injection, all of it. He stopped halfway through the second one. And then he got the stethoscope, and obviously he was checking Mia. He had to check Mia for a little while because, bless her, she fought until the very end.
Oh, bless her.
But within a couple of minutes, obviously her heart must have stopped, and he turned around, and his exact words he said to me and my dad after our dog got put to sleep was, "It's gone. Not she, not Mia, it."
Oh dear, it's gone. I'm putting this one here. There we go. I've just got that all on. I know this is hard for you, Emily, to have to go back over all of this again. But what happened after he had said that?
So then he turned around and he said, "Sorry for your loss." But there was just no compassion with it. It was, you know. Then Mia's harness was underneath her. So he lifted Mia's head to remove most of the harness, and he placed it back down, and that was okay. He then lifted her paw because it got trapped on her paw. And when he lifted it only a couple of centimeters off the floor to get the harness out. But rather than placing her paw back down, he just dropped it down. Which to me isn't okay. I know she's passed away, but treat her with respect.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so even to the point, I left the room then crying. I walked straight out of the vet, and I went outside. We got in the car and I asked my dad whether he had got we walked across the car park first, and I could see the vet still in the room with Mia. I was that worried. I stood and I watched of what he was doing and how he was treating our dog for a few minutes up until he left the room, and that's when I felt comfortable to get in the car. I asked my dad if he had got a printout of obviously the report from that night with the vet's name, etc., because obviously we had every intention of contacting yourselves. But the report wasn't ready, so we got that from PDSA today.
Right.
And obviously we have got the vet's name, etc., that treated her, but you should have that anyway, shouldn't you?
Yeah, we would have all of that, yep.
But yeah, and obviously that was the end of that then. But he should not be a vet. The way he, as I said, just the way he treated her in the first place, that's not how you treat an animal the second is coming to you, because there's something wrong. You know, and like
a lot of the time these pets are anxious enough coming to the vet to then just not even
Mhm.
greet her. And as I said, I've never. Nala,
Enough.
Nala. Sorry, there's someone by my door.
No, enough.
Do you need to go to your door? I'm
Enough.
happy to wait while you
Enough.
answer it. You sure?
Enough.
You're barking at a kid. Enough.
Enough. Stop. She barks at absolutely every little thing. It's somebody walking past my door. It was.
Oh goodness.
She barks at everything.
Just protecting you.
Go lay down.
But yeah, so
Go lay down.
that was the whole thing of yesterday, of Saturday. But as I explained, all he done by giving her that he gave her that sedative. He told us because to calm the pain. But my point
Mhm.
is, we had already said she was being put to sleep. The consent had been
Uh huh.
signed for her to be put to sleep. So if
Uh
he
huh.
had come and just given the euthanasia, like what we've always had done when we've had dogs put to sleep, she would have been out of pain within 5 minutes. Instead, he gave her a sedative and he kept her suffering for 15 to
Mhm.
20 minutes longer than what she actually needed to. Why did he need to give her that sedative? And that's what we want an answer for. And we're not
Mhm.
taking
Mhm.
because she was in pain, because at the end of the day, as I said to my dad, if she was being kept in for further tests and further treatment, I would understand. Give her sedative, get her comfortable. Understandable. But that wasn't the case. She was being put to sleep, so she didn't need that sedative. To me, they've caused unnecessary suffering to Mia. And our last memories now, or mine and my father's last
Mhm.
memories of Mia, is that night. Is that night
Mhm.
watching her for 15 minutes struggling to breathe on the
Mhm.
floor of a vet room.
Now I know what both your dad and yourself have said is, worry enough and upsetting enough for you all. But is there anything else that you want me to add on to here for you?
Not off the top of my head, no. Just as I said, how much he is just, it's just disgusting. I want answers to it all.
Mhm.
As I said, we're now on Monday and I can't stop playing over Saturday night in my head.
Of course. And as you said, it's going to be with you for a long time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely. Right, there we go. Now.
Like with my mum, the other thing, sorry to add on, is like, you've heard the state of my mum in the background.
Yeah.
She doesn't need
Mhm.
this herself. She's quite unwell in herself.
Uh huh.
And now all
Uh huh.
this, it just wasn't necessary. Even the guilt my father felt on Saturday night towards Mia, he was
Mhm.
apologising for the suffering that she was going through. Now, it wasn't my father's
Uh huh.
fault.
Yeah.
He wasn't aware. If he got told what would happen to Mia being given the sedative, he would not have given it to her. He would not have consented to it.
Mhm. And as you said, it was never explained to you what the sedative was going to do
No,
or
nothing.
anything like that. Yeah. And as you said, your dad will, because he signed that form. Your dad will be playing that. Was this the right decision that he made? But he did it because he thought it was the right decision. But the poor gentleman. There we go.
It's like to this, and still,
Give her a sedative and left her to it for 15 minutes.
yeah,
They left her suffer for
Mm.
15 minutes after giving her a sedative. There's no duty of care to
Mhm.
that dog. He neglected
Mhm.
that dog. He abused that dog in his final moments.
Mhm.
That's what it
Mhm.
is. It's abuse.
and it's like for her
Mhm.
final moments, she wouldn't even have
Mhm.
been aware that me and my father were there.
Yeah. Ugh.
Why do that,
Mhm.
We've got a complaint with vets now from 2 years ago where they nearly killed our dog.
Yeah, like we've got a complaint in from vets now from 2 years
Mhm.
ago where they nearly killed our Frenchie. She she
Right.
she turned out to be anemic
Right.
because of an operation.
The stomach open,
And
bleeding all over the vet's floor. He told us it's normal.
yeah,
Sent her home.
Mhm.
obviously that's
Mhm.
a separate thing again, but it's
Mhm.
just It's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting what they done
No.
or what he done. It's not they, because as I said, the rest of the staff were fit. You know, there was a lady on reception, and we didn't meet any of the staff, but you know, couldn't have faulted reception at all. And you know,
Yeah.
when she seen Mia, she greeted her, etc., like what you expect in a vet. But he just, to be honest, I think he's a vet for the paycheck. He ain't a vet because he cares about animals. He really, really
He's a
isn't.
vet. He's a vet for the private out of hours vets. He is. He isn't a vet for a vet charity. He is all for the out of hours private clinics. He is.
Just to make you aware, just in case there is any confusion, you were not ever seen by a PDSA vet. So just to
No.
make you aware of that, vets now are an out of our emergency service. So the PDSA, when they're closed, the clients do go through to vets now. So
Yeah.
we are only out of hours only. We're not the charity side of it. Okay,
Yeah.
just in case there was any confusion with that.
Good girl, Mia. Won't be long, baby. Won't be long. You left too long like this.
A couple of minutes, he said.
Give a sedative.
She didn't even need one. No, why did she need something to calm her down? She wasn't.
Yeah.
There was
Shoulder
nothing wrong.
aggression. No, nothing. She just studied everything.
No, it's not a bit of aggression in that bloody life.
No. When he comes in, I'm going to put the phone up there. I'll ask him when she was going to sedative first off. Obviously, I'll put it because I'll be up on the floor here. As far as I'm concerned, this is cool now.
It's in your neck, isn't it?
Yeah.
There was no reason she couldn't have it. I don't even know.
Yeah, leave the door open a little bit, Ems, if it will. That's it. Just leave it like that. Some fresh air in for her. No way. Oh, my darling.
He said it's normal. I said, okay. I said, it's cruel. I said, she's struggling to breathe. I said, she's like, I said, could somebody just come, please? And he could come there.
Sorry, darling. I've lost loads of dogs in the past, but never anything like this. This was going for about 5 minutes before I actually started filming.